Armani, what's popping? How are you?
I'm good, brother. If it look good, I'm doing good. That's how I look at
You look good, you smell good, you feel
it.
good. How's everything going in your life right about now? Any
um,
changes? Anything that's happening that you want to talk about?
any what? All of them. Like everything has been changing, and in a good direction. It's a lot of got a lot more relatives, cousins, and things that have popped out. The church is asking for bigger donations, but
Would that low key drive you crazy? Because let me tell you, if I got cousins, like let's say I put out a song and it blows up, and I start
uh,
getting cousins that I haven't heard about, blocked, blocked,
yeah,
blocked.
yeah.
How do you navigate that?
um, Honestly, I've always kind of separated myself from a lot of the noise and just been like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay too much attention to that. What's fun now is that my mom, she's one of those type of people who like always has this is what I would do in that situation, or she always has advice for so many situations. So like now, I put her in that same exact situation. When I gave her the money, I was like, all right, now let me see what you're gonna do with it.
Right,
And
right.
but yeah, I just kind of avoid the noise as much as possible.
You know what's interesting? I feel like as the bigger that you get, I feel like the
Mhm.
more that people are going to come out of the woodwork, the more that people are going to try to be your friend. And I'm wondering, how do you protect yourself and your space in those situations?
Honestly, bro, like I just have I'm super extroverted, but I've kind of cut it off to a certain threshold where I'm like, oh, like you might want something from me. You might not just be here to be here, like as a friend. And so like as far as who the tight knit circle is, about 3 or 4 people. And it's not even interchangeable. It's just about 3 or 4 people I've known since like the sandbox. And we came up together.
I think that's interesting that you're able to, have that discernment to know that when people are coming at you, you kind of know what they're coming at you for.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of find out along the way. At this point, honestly, like I said, I have like really close friends, like 3 or 4 people as really close friends. But I talk to my managers more than anybody. Like that's who I like. Those are like my best friends at this point. And it's good. It's a good working relationship. But yeah, like everyone else, you kind of just have to weed it out. It's like some people, because at this point, we all kind of selfish. We all want something.
Absolutely. But I try to check myself when it comes to friends. I try to check myself because the last thing I would want to do is come off as wanting something from them
Right,
constantly. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Mm-hmm,
I am that
mm-hmm.
one person that's always like trying to be the most considerate in every situation, which backfires a little bit, but
Yeah.
I still want to be that person. I want people to be like, "Oh, EJ using such and such and such and such." No, absolutely not.
Right, right,
You know
right,
what I
right. Nah,
mean?
nah. I never wanted to be the using type boy. Like I've definitely, I just, like for me, anytime I've been involved with someone to any capacity, it's like, how can I help you? Like, what can I do to, bring you up?
Have Do you feel like there's been a lot of people like hitting you up just asking like how can I get put on like same way how you got put on? Has that been happening?
Yeah, but you know what? I get a lot more. There's just like I've been at it for a while. That's the thing. Like it's not so much of a recent thing or like an overnight success. It's been like a lot of people who just watch the steady climb, the trials, the tribulations, to fail and fail and fail until we succeed.
Mhm.
So a lot of people just hit me up just to tell me what's going on. They're like, I know you can't keep up with everything. Like when they were like, yo, I remember a month ago, they were like, yo, your record is playing on KIS. Like, what I mean, they was shouting out the station. And
Mhm.
I'm like, bro, is that big? Like, I'm not from LA, so I don't.
Quick question. Did you ever get discouraged in the process though?
Oh, for sure. I think that, honestly, making music is just a long-winded trial and tribulation. It's just like being discouraged over and over and over again until you like, all right, no, this is actually kind of hot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's literally not even just music, just art in general. Like I feel like any artist can relate to that where you're just, like from the beginning when you put the paint on the paintbrush and you put the paintbrush on the canvas, you're like, I hate this, 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 until like you're like 99%. You're like, oh wait, no, I kind of love this. Like,
That has to be like, oh, has that ever happened to you when you're in a song? You're putting together. I mean, in the studio, you're putting together a song. And you're like, man, this is terrible. This is terrible. Oh, okay. Now that everything has come together, I'm like, this is not so bad.
there's so many songs that I left the studio with. Like, man, I hate this song. This isn't even a good song. Nobody's gonna like this. Like, I just wasted my money at the studio. Like, and then I get back to the house. I like the next morning I'll play it and I'll be like, oh nah, this kind of fly, like this ride.
You know what? What I realized being a creative, sometimes you have to step away from it and then come back to it to
Absolutely.
really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Like that's exactly where I was going with it. It's just like you really sometimes you need those that creative, just that creative break, like that creative time off to just say, all right, like let me just appreciate what it is that I'm making and not be so much of the what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like the creator. Let me not be so much of the creator. Let me just kind of consume and digest what it is that I just did and appreciate it.
So what are you doing when you're not in the studio creating? Like, how do you get away from it?
I watch a lot of cartoons. I'm a kid, bro. Like I watch so many cartoons. We bowl a
Mhm.
lot. And I'm overly competitive at everything I do. So we I bowl competitive. I play pool, and I work out. Like I said, that's one of my main things I like doing. It's like just to go for runs, stuff like that. Like I just like being being outside, being in nature, and laughing. It's like my main things.
I will say, I think when you are in this business, you kind of have to be overly competitive when you think about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like when you're looking
Mhm.
at stats, you're looking at songs, you're looking, it's if you're not necessarily competing with anyone else, it's almost like you're competing with yourself.
Bro, but I mean, it's just like competitive nature in my like. If we got two bathrooms in our house and you took a shower, I'd be like, bro, I bet I could shower better than you. Like I'm just saying, like I'm just that type of competitive. It makes no sense, for no reason whatsoever. But it's instilled in me. I was the youngest kid growing up, so like
Mhm.
I always had to be like I felt like I had to one up my big brothers and my big sisters and things like that.
So tell me about Billie Eilish. One thing that I really appreciate about it is that you're using the throwback Nori Nuttin
Yeah,
beats. Tell me
yeah.
all about that.
Man, I mean, honestly, how the thing even came about was just like, we had a throwback beat from 2002. You know how we used to dress in 2002. So like with the style, it fit perfectly. I was like, Billy dresses like a 2002 rapper. So it just makes sense. And that record came about just like, playing around with that idea as a metaphor until I like used it on that beat. It was like, oh no, this fits perfectly. I was dropping the beat in and out on my MacBook, just pressing the mute button and bringing it back in. And I was like, yo, this is going to be hard. So I took it to the studio and you know, we did it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, because it sounds like you tweaked it a little bit. That used to be my favorite song, Homeboy. I came to
Yo,
party.
yo
Your
girl
girl
was
was looking
looking.
at me.
Oh
What you going
man,
to
yeah.
do?
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. It's so crazy that that's my first like big record was because that's what was a hit defined to me when I was a kid because it was everywhere. It wasn't just like a record I heard on the radio. It was on the video games I played. It was on it was anytime I put on a music video, that video played. It was everywhere. So, like that's kind of how I understood music. It was like when you got a big record, it has to be everywhere.
You know what your full circle moment is? Hopefully, we can make this happen. Your full circle moment is getting you on Drink Champs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be
Okay.
wouldn't that be a dope full circle moment though?
Nah, that'd be fire. That'd be way too fire. I mean, like Nori's definitely reached out a couple times. He actually the Drink Champs that just dropped with Neo. He just shouted me out on there. They were talking about sampling and clearing records and things. But yeah, nah, get me on Drink Champs would be fire.
Was it hard to get him to clear that or no?
the hardest part, the hardest part was Pharrell. A lot of it was honestly the actual process of like getting them to do it, getting like convincing them wasn't as hard as just getting in touch with them. You
Mhm,
understand? So like
mhm.
they because it's such an antiquated process. They like you got to go through a company who then goes to the publisher who then sends a carrier pigeon over to their address, and then like it's like it's such an antiquated process that was what really took it a lot of time. I think the hardest part was getting Billy to clear.
Mm.
And because we had to clear her name, they weren't giving like they was like before we even give y'all name and rights, like before we release this master, y'all gotta get her to approve on it. And once it made enough noise and she reposted it, it was like, all right, have fun. You know what I mean?
How important is for somebody that's listening that's doing music or wants to get started in music, how important is it for you to use social media as a part of your platform?
It is like that's what you have to do. It's not how important it is that's what you do. And in today's world, like I think a lot of these things come ancillary to like I don't know, social media is so direct to consumer. And that's the cheat code for me, I think, is like the fact that you can go out and speak to millions of people. Because when I was growing up, they used to always be like, yeah, go play every show at every bar because you never know. P. Diddy might walk in. And I'm like, bro, P. Diddy is not coming in West Philadelphia at a bar. But that place, that bar that they were talking about was the internet. The bar they were talking about was Instagram. It was TikTok. It was whatever other social media space that you can be heard at. That's the places where these random people that can change your life will walk into and recognize you.
Only reason I ask is because I feel like there are so many people out there that are like music purists and they feel like you should be hearing their songs other than on social media. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, well, yeah, but that was the age old thing. Before TikTok rappers, it was YouTube rappers. Before YouTube rappers, it was I don't know, like
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud
Yeah.
rappers, and then it was reality show rappers, and it was like nobody ever wanted to be this. I like like I think that's just been a thing for so long. It's like I don't want to be that's just been a thing for so long. It's like I don't want to be this. I don't want to like fit into that box. It's just I would rather fit into some box than no box at all. And I'd rather fight my way out that box than just not exist in any box whatsoever because nobody knows who I am.
I understand that 100%. I understand that. It's almost like a gift and a curse too, because you can get that instant satisfaction. You can get that instant satisfaction and find out if people are loving it, or you can find out if people aren't feeling it.
Right, exactly, yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Because like like you can quickly shift like, oh, okay, like rather than I just sent it to radio, I sent it to digital, I sent it to such, and then the record actually didn't work and I just spent millions of dollars on this campaign. Like you can find out right now. Like, yo, y'all feeling this? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Give me what they do, the fire or the poop emoji. Like like you can find out very quickly.
Yeah, I don't understand why people wouldn't embrace that, wouldn't go all in with social media if you're like an artist.
Some people are just like, I don't know, like they get in their heads about it. I think
that's what it is. I think that's what people are doing. They're getting in their heads and they're not they're not comfortable in their own skin.
Right. Exactly. I mean, listen, I've been me for so long, like that's my thought process is like wherever I go, whatever box or whatever like platform, I'm going to be me and I'm going to stand out because I'm me. That's even if I decided to do everything y'all was doing, I'm going to be me and it's going to look different.
100%. Tell us, what are you working on next?
So we were wrapping up with my first project we titled it Selfish. And I'm thinking of just kind of doing it like a episodic, kind of just like telling my story almost like instead of telling like a movie, just telling it almost like a TV show, a reality series. And then every release is almost like an episode. So instead of me just trying to give it to you, like let's spoon feed them one at a time and make sure they really digest and understand the story and become a part of the story more or less.
I love that. Thank you so much for jumping on Zoom and chatting with us. We appreciate that.
Nah. Thank you, big bro. I appreciate you for bringing me on.